I won $47 million on a Tuesday. Not the Powerball, not some flashy televised drawing, just a random scratch-off ticket I bought at a gas station on my way home from my third shift of the week. I was a hospice nurse. I'd just watched a woman die alone because her family couldn't be bothered to show up. I was tired. I was numb. I bought the ticket because the machine was next to the coffee, and I needed something, anything, to feel different than empty. I scratched it off in my car. 777. Grand prize, $47 million. I sat there for 20 minutes, hands shaking, staring at the metallic silver residue under my fingernails. Then I drove home, hid the ticket in my freezer behind a bag of peas, and didn't tell a single person. Not my mother, not my brother, not my sister, no one. Because I needed to know something first. I needed to know if anyone in my family would help me when they thought I had nothing left to give. My name is Iris, and I've been the family ATM for 15 years. It started small. My younger brother Desmond needed rent money during college. My sister Paulina needed help with her wedding. My mother needed a new roof. I said yes every time, because that's what family does, right? You help each other. But help became expectation, and expectation became entitlement. Desmond borrowed $15,000 to start a business that never launched. Paulina borrowed $30,000 for her dream wedding to a man she divorced 18 months later. My mother borrowed $8,000 for the roof, then another $12,000 for a kitchen renovation, then another $6,000 for a vacation to Hawaii because she deserved it after raising us alone. None of it was ever paid back. "You're a nurse," Desmond would say with a shrug. "You make good money. It's not like you need it." I made $68,000 a year. Good money, sure, but not infinite money, not fund everyone else's life money. I worked 50-hour weeks. I picked up night shifts and weekend doubles. I drove a 13-year-old Honda. I hadn't taken a vacation in 6 years. My apartment was a studio with a bathroom so small I had to sit sideways on the toilet. But I was the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always figured it out. And slowly, over years, I realized something ugly. They didn't see me as a person. They saw me as a resource. When I called, they were busy. When they called, they needed something. My birthday passed without a card, but when Paulina's son needed braces, my phone rang within the hour. I told myself it was fine. I told myself family was complicated. I told myself I was being selfish for feeling resentful. Then I won $47 million, and everything changed. I didn't cash the ticket right away. First, I hired a lawyer, then a financial advisor. We set up a blind trust, structured the payout, created legal protections. The money would be invisible to everyone except me and my team. Then I made a plan. I would go to each member of my family and ask for help. Not money. Something harder. Something that required time, effort, vulnerability. I would see who showed up when I had nothing to offer in return. And, based on what I learned, I would decide what each of them deserved. It wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. I needed to know if anyone loved me when I stopped being useful. I called my mother on a Thursday evening. She answered on the fourth ring, voice distracted. "Iris, hi. Can I call you back? I'm watching my show." "Mom, I need help. It's important." A pause. "What kind of help?" "I've been having some health issues. Dizziness, fatigue. I have a specialist appointment next Tuesday at 10 a.m., but I'm scared to go alone. Can you come with me?" Silence. "Mom?" "Tuesday at 10, she sighed. "Honey, that's my Pilates class. Can't you reschedule?" "The appointment took 3 months to get. I really need someone there. I'm scared it might be serious." Another pause. Longer this time. "Have you talked to Desmond? He doesn't work Tuesdays." "I called you first," I said quietly. "You're my mom." I know, sweetheart, but Pilates is really important for my back. You know I threw it out last year. Can't you just, I don't know, record the appointment on your phone and play it for me later? Something inside me went very still. Sure, Mom, I said. I'll figure it out. You're so capable, Iris. You always figure things out. Let me know how it goes, okay? Love you. She hung up before I could respond. I sat on my couch holding the phone, staring at nothing. The appointment wasn't even real, but her answer was. Desmond lived 40 minutes away in a condo I'd helped him buy, with a $20,000 loan he'd never acknowledged again. I drove to him on a Saturday morning and knocked on his door. He answered in pajama pants and a gaming headset, clearly annoyed at the interruption. Iris, what are you doing here? I need help moving, I said. My landlord is selling the building. I have to be out by the end of the month. I don't have much stuff, but the furniture is heavy and I can't afford movers. Can you help me, maybe this weekend? He scratched his neck. This weekend is bad. I've got plans. What plans? Just plans. You know how it is. He glanced back into his apartment where I could hear gunfire and shouting from his gaming. What about next weekend? I have to be out in 8 days, Des. Then hire movers. I can't afford it. I'm barely covering rent as it is. He frowned like I'd said something confusing. You're a nurse. Just pick up an extra shift. I'm already working 50 hours a week. Then I don't know what to tell you, he shrugged. Moving is a whole thing. It takes like all day. I just can't commit to that right now. You're my brother. And you're asking me to give up my entire Saturday. He said it like I was being unreasonable. Look, I'll try to stop by if I have time, okay? But no promises. He closed the door before I could respond. I stood in the hallway of the building I'd helped him buy, listening to his game resume through the thin walls, and felt something crack in my chest. Not surprise, confirmation. Paulina was harder to pin down. She was busy. Always busy, with her new boyfriend, her new job, her new life after the divorce I'd bankrolled. I finally caught her at a wine bar downtown where she'd agreed to meet me for a quick drink. She arrived 20 minutes late, kissed my cheek without making eye contact, and immediately started scrolling through her phone. So, what's up? She asked, not looking at me. I need a favor, I said. That got her attention. Her eyes flicked up, wary. What kind of favor? I've been struggling, I said carefully. Financially, emotionally. Work has been really hard, and I feel like I'm drowning. I was wondering if I could stay with you for a few weeks, just until I get my feet under me. Her face went blank. Stay with me? Just temporarily, 2, maybe 3 weeks max. I wouldn't be in your way. I'd help with rent, cook, clean, whatever you need. Iris, she set her phone down. You can't stay with me. Why not? Because, she glanced around like someone might be listening, because Carter and I are in a really good place right now, and having someone else in the apartment would throw off the whole dynamic. You understand, right? Carter, her boyfriend of 3 months? I'm your sister, I said. I know, and I love you, but I also need to prioritize my relationship. Carter has been so good for me, and I can't risk messing that up. I'm not asking you to mess anything up. I'm asking for a couch to sleep on while I figure out my life. She picked up her wine glass, avoiding my eyes. Why can't you stay with Mom? She doesn't have space. What about Desmond? He's busy. Well, so am I. She drained her glass. Look, Iris, I don't mean to sound harsh, but you're an adult. You need to handle your own problems. I can't always be the one who... You've never been the one, I interrupted quietly. She blinked. What? You've never been the one who helps, Paulina. I have. For 15 years, I've been the one. And now, for the first time, I'm asking you for something, and you're saying no. Her face flushed. That's not fair. I've had my own struggles. My divorce was... I paid for your wedding, and I paid for your lawyer. I didn't ask you to do that. You did. You absolutely did. You called me crying and said you didn't know what you'd do without me. She stood up abruptly. I don't need to sit here and be guilt-tripped. I have a life, Iris. I'm sorry yours isn't going well right now, but that's not my responsibility. She grabbed her purse and walked out. I sat alone at the table, surrounded by Friday night laughter and clinking glasses, and finally let myself feel what I'd been holding back. Not sadness, clarity. None of them would help me, not when it required sacrifice, not when I had nothing to offer. They loved what I could do for them. They didn't love me. 6 weeks later, I held a family dinner. I told them I had an announcement, something important. They showed up because they were curious and probably because they hoped I'd stop being needy and was back to normal. My mother arrived first, chatting about her new boyfriend. Desmond came next, complaining about traffic. Paulina showed up last with Carter, who I hadn't invited, but who apparently came as a package deal now. We sat around the table in the private room I'd rented at an upscale restaurant. They ordered expensive entrees without looking at prices. Old habits. After the food arrived, I stood up. "Thank you all for coming," I said. Desmond looked up from his steak. "So what's the big announcement? You're not dying, are you?" "No, I'm not dying, but I did want to talk to you about something that happened recently. Something that changed my life." My mother leaned forward, concerned now. "Iris, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Actually, something went very right." I pulled an envelope from my purse and set it on the table. 8 weeks ago, I won the lottery. $47 million. The room went completely silent. Paulina's fork clattered to her plate. "What?" "I won $47 million, I repeated. "After taxes, I cleared about $28 million. It's sitting in a trust right now, managed by a team of lawyers and financial advisors." Desmond's mouth was open. My mother had gone pale. Carter looked confused. "Why didn't you tell us?" my mother whispered. "Because I needed to know something first. I needed to know if any of you would help me when you thought I had nothing." Understanding dawned on their faces, slowly, like sunrise. "The appointment," my mother said, "the one I missed, wasn't real," I confirmed. "The move," Desmond said hoarsely. "You didn't actually need help moving." "I did, but because I wanted to see if you'd show up." Paulina was shaking her head. "The thing about staying with me, that was a test?" "Yes." "That's manipulative," she raised her voice. "That's sick, Iris. You lied to us." "I asked you for help," I corrected, "and every single one of you said no." "Because we didn't know you'd won the lottery," Desmond shouted. If you'd known, you would have helped," I finished. "That's exactly my point, Des. You would have helped if you thought there was something in it for you. But when I actually needed you, when I was scared, alone, struggling, none of you could be bothered." My mother stood up, hands shaking. "Iris, that's not fair. We love you." "Do you?" I asked. "Or do you love what I give you?" The silence that followed was deafening. I opened the envelope and pulled out 3 checks. I'd had them prepared in advance. "Mom," I said, sliding the first check across the table, "this is for $26,000, the exact amount you've borrowed from me over the years. Consider your debt paid." She stared at the check like it was a snake. "Desmond, $15,000. Your business loan, forgiven." He didn't reach for it. "Paulina, $30,000. Your wedding and divorce, covered." She was crying now, not grateful tears, angry ones. "This is everything I've given you over the years, and it's the last money you'll ever get from me." "Iris," my mother started, "I'm not punishing you. I'm setting a boundary. You don't get access to my life anymore. Not my money, not my time, not my energy. You've spent 15 years taking, and I'm done giving." "So that's it?" Paulina said bitterly. "You're just cutting us off after everything we've been through as a family?" "Everything you've put me through," I corrected. "I've been there for every crisis, every emergency, every inconvenience. And when I needed you, really needed you, none of you could even pretend to care." "We do care," my mother cried. "Then prove it. Not with words, not with excuses. Change. Be better. Show up for each other the way I showed up for you. And maybe, eventually, we can rebuild something real. I picked up my purse, but until then, I'm done being the only one who tries. I walked out of the restaurant into the cool evening air, and for the first time in 15 years, I felt light. That was 9 months ago. I haven't spoken to my mother since. She's left voicemails, angry ones at first, then sad ones, then apologetic ones. I listen to them, but I don't respond. Not yet. Desmond sent a long email 3 months ago. He didn't apologize for not helping me move. He apologized for not understanding where I was coming from and being insensitive to my needs. It wasn't real accountability. It was word salad designed to make me feel guilty for holding a boundary. I didn't respond to that either. Paulina blocked me on social media. I heard through a mutual friend that she and Carter broke up, and she's been telling people I'm toxic and manipulative. I don't argue. Let her have her narrative. I have my truth. As for the money, I've been using it carefully. I quit bedside nursing and started a nonprofit that provides financial assistance to healthcare workers in crisis. Real assistance, not loans, grants, no strings attached. I bought a small house with a garden. I adopted a dog. I've been sleeping through the night for the first time in years. I've also been in therapy, working through the guilt that still creeps in late at night, the voice that whispers I'm being cruel, selfish, unfair. My therapist reminds me that boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. You didn't cut them off, she said during our last session. You stopped letting them use you. There's a difference. She's right. I didn't win the lottery to hurt my family. I won it to save myself. And the test I gave them wasn't about money. It was about love. Real love shows up. Real love sacrifices. Real love gives without expecting return. And when I needed that kind of love most, they proved they didn't have it to give. Maybe someday they'll learn. Maybe someday I'll let them back in. But today, I'm sitting in my garden with my dog asleep at my feet, drinking coffee I didn't have to ration, planning a life that finally belongs to me. And that's not revenge. That's freedom. If this story resonates with you, if you've ever been the giver in a family of takers, if you've ever wondered what would happen if you stopped carrying everyone else, know this. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because you share DNA. You don't owe anyone forgiveness just because they're family. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing yourself. The people who truly love you will prove it through action, not words. And the ones who don't, they'll prove that too. Tell me in the comments, are you still giving or have you learned to protect yourself? What time is it where you are? And what boundary do you need to set? This is what real wealth looks like. Knowing your worth and refusing to accept less.